Good evening, this is Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Bang in the middle of the elections, the BJP today made a big deal out of Rahul Gandhi's citizenship all of a sudden, claiming he's actually a British national. The Home Ministry has now sent Rahul Gandhi a notice asking him to explain. A petition making the same allegations was rejected by the Supreme Court just a few years ago. So why is the BJP raking this up again? Is it fear to confront real issues, as Priyanka Gandhi suggested today? Or is there any merit at all to this controversy? We'll be looking at that in just a moment. But first, the breaking news at this hour. The Election Commission has just given its first order on the various complaints against the Prime Minister for violating the Model Code of Conduct, and in the first case, it has given Mr. Modi a clean chit for his speech made in Wardha in Maharashtra on the 1st of April. It was at this speech that Mr. Modi had criticized Rahul Gandhi's nomination in Wayanad. He had talked about Hindu terror. He had said that the Congress had insulted Hindus and that people have decided to punish them, which is why they're forced to take refuge in places where the majority is in a minority. So on that particular complaint, the Election Commission has given Mr. Modi a clean chit, but there are other complaints pending with them. Will they take action in those cases? Will there be any censure? Who knows? My colleague Arvind has more on this story. Arvind, tell us more about what the EC has said.
Nidhi, the Election Commission's full commission meeting met for around 3 hours from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. today. It was chaired by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora. Earlier, we were told that all the complaints against Prime Minister Narendra Modi and also BJP Chief Amit Shah and also Congress President Rahul Gandhi, total 5 complaints against Prime Minister and 3 against Amit Shah and 2 against Rahul Gandhi will be taken up for consideration today. And we were told that the Election Commission will give a final decision today. But surprisingly, just now the Election Commission has issued a statement which shows that the Commission has taken only one complaint against the Prime Minister for consideration today. This complaint pertains to Prime Minister addressing an election campaign in Wardha in Maharashtra on April 1st, where he said that can Congress be forgiven for insulting the Hindus. In fact, he said that Congress coined the term Hindu terror, and how can the Hindus can forgive Congress? And that's why now they have taken refuge in a constituency where majority are minorities, and that's where Rahul Gandhi has chosen a constituency like Wayanad. This is the speech that Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave in Wardha on April 1st. Congress had moved the Election Commission saying that this is against the Model Code of Conduct because he is campaigning on the communal lines. So there were similar 5 complaints, in fact 3 of them involving the defense forces during the campaign by the Prime Minister. So we were expecting that the Commission would take all the 5 complaints against the Prime Minister for consideration today, but surprisingly the Commission has taken only one complaint against the Prime Minister, and they have said that after a detailed examination of this complaint, they have found that no violation by the Prime Minister during this particular election campaign. Apart from this, the Commission has also banned Samajwadi Party leader Azam Khan from campaigning for 2 days from tomorrow morning, and they have also banned BJP Gujarat chief from campaigning for 3 days from day after tomorrow evening. Surprisingly, regarding the Kashmir part, because when we spoke to our sources in the Election Commission, they told us the first agenda of this Commission's full Commission meeting is regarding the Jammu Kashmir Assembly polls. Regarding this issue, we all know that the special observers constituted by the Election Commission, they had submitted a detailed report regarding this issue, and in fact the Jammu Kashmir state administration officials also met the Election Commission officials regarding this issue. Regarding this issue, the Election Commission has said that they need more consultation with the Home Ministry, and they are also seeking an opinion from the legal personalities. So as of now, they have given only 4 issues, and they have given a statement on this, and rest complaints against the Prime Minister will be taken up in tomorrow's meeting. This is what our sources in the Election Commission saying. Nidhi?
All right, well, we are holding our breaths to see what the Election Commission actually does with that. Thanks very much for that, Arvind. In fact, we'll be talking to our panelists about this as well in just a few moments. And the other story that made headlines today was when the Home Ministry suddenly sent the Congress President a notice giving him 15 days to reply to a complaint filed by BJP MP Subramaniam Swamy, who claims that Rahul Gandhi is actually a British national. Now, the Congress has rubbished the allegations, beginning with an aggressive Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who said that the BJP was doing this now because of fear that the elections weren't going their way. In fact, the Supreme Court had dismissed a petition against Rahul Gandhi in 2015 on the same issue, calling it frivolous. Mr. Swamy's complaint to a parliament panel also in 2015 that was headed by Mr. Advani no less also yielded nothing. And most recently, this year, in just the last few weeks, the Election Commission dismissed a similar complaint filed against Rahul when he had filed his nomination papers. Now, what is also bizarre is the Congress held a press conference today. It showed the media documents of the company that Rahul is associated with, which Mr. Swamy has referred to as proof of his British citizenship. But the papers the Congress held up show Rahul's nationality as Indian. However, the papers that were shown by the BJP to reporters show him listed as a British national. Let's take a look.
कौन सा राहुल आखिरकार ओरिजिनल है, देशी या विदेशी? कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता खुद जान नहीं पा रहे हैं कि उनके अध्यक्ष, उनके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष आखिर देशी हैं या विदेशी हैं.
Why do you think they're doing this?
Maybe they're scared. Maybe
Scared of?
losing.
All right, well, Priyanka Gandhi, very sort of blunt with her words. Well, first up tonight is Abhishek Manu Singhvi, senior leader of the Congress party, and who has also represented Rahul Gandhi in court today on the matter of contempt that he's facing with regard to his comments on Chaukidar Chor hai. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But Dr. Singhvi, I just wanted your first reaction to the Election Commission's announcement in the last few minutes that it would not be censuring Mr. Modi for his comments on the Hindu majority-minority regarding Rahul's nomination in Wayanad. They say that he did not violate the model code.
Nidhi, I leave it to you to judge yourself. By yourself, I mean all your viewers. After 30 days of 10 complaints starting 1st April, and many of them being 9th, 12th, etc., which I myself argued, on 30th or rather 30th of April, you take up the first one and dispose of one. Does it tell you the own story? Is that fair decision making by EC? Forget the merits. We have liberty to challenge the Wayanad issue in the court, but you need a petition in the Supreme Court to get them to meet. We filed the petition yesterday in public knowledge. They meet today. They take the whole day to decide 1 out of 10. Number 2, Nidhi, the passages in these 3, which can be categorized into hate speeches, cheapening, dragging the armed forces into the vote for armed forces debate, political debate, and campaigning right under the nose of a booth, are purple passages quoted in our representations. I ask you to pick up any of them and decide for yourself. Let me hold my horses till they decide all the others, which at this rate should take 10 days, because they've done one today. If you decide in 10 days, you would have done 5 phases of the elections. By now it is 4 phases, 374 seats. By then less than 100, 150 will be left. What is the point of this? There is no reverse button, no rewind button on this, Nidhi. Forget the merits, you take so long to decide. And therefore a non-decision becomes a decision by itself. It helps the wrongdoer. You don't maintain parity with Mr. Bisht of UP, whom you punished on my submissions for exactly the same thing. Just because these 1.5 people are the tops of the country, are they above the law? Are they above the EC? Are they above the MCC? These are very serious institutional questions.
Which is why
for the very
right.
reputation and stature of the EC itself.
Absolutely. It's the Election Commission's reputation which is at stake, which is why this story is being followed so closely, and it's taken so long for them to come out even with what they have said today, even though they've given Mr. Modi a clean chit. But Dr. Singhvi, let me ask you about the other couple of issues that we're discussing tonight. One is this whole citizenship issue that has been raked up by the BJP. Now, this was something the Supreme Court had dismissed as a frivolous issue in 2015. A parliament panel did not deem it fit to go into this. This was a complaint Subramaniam Swamy made to the Home Ministry actually in 2017, which suddenly the Home Ministry has woken up to. How are you looking at this issue then in the middle of the election and reading it?
Nidhi, your narrative just before this, when you opened the program and I was listening, since I was strapped up with the mic by then, has given all the answers. I mean, forget everything else. I'll come to a narrative in 30 seconds. This complaint by Swamy is 17 months ago. Does it not tell you the own story if the MHA sends a notice on 30th April or bang in the middle of the elections to Rahul Gandhi? What is the intent? What is the object? That's point 1. Point 2, the parliamentary committee, headed by no less than Mr. Advani, as your report mentions, noted the statement of Rahul Gandhi, which I quote unquote, I have never acquired, sought, taken citizenship of any other country. These are age-old allegations. Just because the same person is raising at least a 10-year-old allegation, and just because some sections of the government are supporting him, and just because it's a friendly government, Do you think this kind of nonsense in the middle of elections has any resonance? Thirdly, there is a PIL by Mr. Sharma where exactly the same thing is taken, dismissed by the Supreme Court. Fourthly, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, this allegation is not true for the last at least 15 years or 12 years since he's been in the public domain. Mr. Modi's government itself is 5 years old. A criminal complaint ought to have been filed by Mr. Modi's government, which is the most friendly government to Rahul Gandhi.
Okay, so you clearly,
For
of course, see it
misrepresentation, for
as an
fraud.
absurd political move. But can I ask you, Abhishek
It's a
Singhvi,
joke.
also
It's a
on
joke.
what happened in the Supreme Court today with regard to the contempt petition that Rahul Gandhi is facing? That wasn't a particularly good day for you in court, was it? I mean, the Supreme Court, you actually ended up telling the court that no, Rahul Gandhi is going to apologize now for suggesting that the Supreme Court had said Chaukidar Chor hai. Whereas it appeared that the judges were saying that the word regret, which was used in the earlier affidavit, was not enough.
Only the last 4 words of your question are absolutely correct. The rest is all impression, wrongly created, a lot of sensationalism going out there, but I agree with you in the last 5 or 4 words. Let me explain in less than 1 or 2 minutes. I know your time is limited. We have on day 1, Nidhi, which is 10 days ago, in exactly the same explanation, underlined the 3 offending passages by us. 2, we have never evaded, avoided saying that this is our mistake. We said it on day 1. 3, because it is our mistake which we admitted in writing in affidavit before the court, we regret it. 4, we said that no court could ever, what did we regret? Only one thing, wrongful attribution to the court of acceptance of Chaukidar's slogan or accepting as a finding that there is Chaukidar Chor hai. 5th, we have said in that same affidavit, for which we have already accepted regret, that no court could give findings which are part of a political campaign and which yet require a JPC inquiry and a criminal inquiry which we will set up when we come into power. So the last point, Nidhi, what is the embarrassment and ego which I have in converting and expressing apology for something which I have regretted on day 1?
Well, clearly the
There would be
Chief
embarrassment if I
Justice's
change my
court saw a
stand.
difference
I
between
have
a
accepted
regret
my
and an
mistake.
apology.
Right, that's where I said your last 4 words are correct. I did say that a regret is repentance and an apology. It is similar to. They were prima facie not convinced. I have not yet apologized, nor have I filed the affidavit. That is for my client to decide and sign.
Okay.
But yes, to that extent, the court did not accept my identity of the 2 words. But Nidhi, just note what the BJP wanted. They wanted a rejection of my stand, not done today. They wanted a punishment, not done today. They wanted me not to be heard, not done today. So, I mean,
All right.
I can't answer every, sensational
Well,
statement in the press out there.
all
but
right.
the final, last one second only. We tend to react in this age of 24/7, Nidhi, on what the exchanges between counsel and court are. The court only speaks in its final order. Both
So
the
let
order
us
today
see what that
and the
final
order
order
on
will
Monday.
be. Abhishek Singhvi.
I would urge you to wait till Monday.
Okay,
Yes.
let us wait till Monday. All right, thank you Abhishek Singhvi for joining us tonight, and I want to go straight across to our panelists this evening. There's a lot to talk about, including first the Election Commission's clean chit to Mr. Modi that has just come. I want to first go across to Dushyant Dave, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. We have Hitesh Jain of the BJP, who's a lawyer as well, joining us from Mumbai. Mohammed Khan of the Congress is with us, and senior journalist Nalini Singh is with us. Mr. Dave, to you first. We're just getting this news that the Election Commission has given Mr. Modi a clean chit in that speech that he made in Wardha, where he talked about Rahul Gandhi's nomination in Wayanad, talked about him running away from a majority constituency to a minority one. Are you surprised that the Election Commission has said that this is not a violation?
Well, I would have been surprised if Election Commission had said that it is violation. I think Mr. Modi can get away with anything in this country, and there is no institution which I think a constitutional institution which is today in position or has the I would say capability to really make a remark against Mr. Modi, much less pass any kind of an order against Mr. Modi. And Election Commission is not free from that incapacity, which is of course self-imposed and self-created because no institution today is willing to take Mr. Modi on, and which is an unfortunate thing in a democracy, because it's something which really should not happen, that however powerful you may be, the law is always above you, and therefore Election Commission had a duty to really look at the law very carefully. I have no doubt that Election Commission's decision, I mean, they may say it's objective, is really influenced by this fact that it was a statement attributed to Prime Minister. If it was anybody else, Election Commission would have come down heavily and censured that person, and maybe would have banned him from addressing rallies, etc. for 2 or 3 days. So I think it's really a sad commentary, because under Constitution, Article 324, Election Commission is expected to be fiercely independent, and it was independent when Mr. Session really brought Election Commission into forefront in this country, after that, slowly and steadily, the Election Commission is getting highly politicized, and it is losing its objectivity, its independence and its integrity to a great extent. And having said that, there is one more thing I want to say. How Election Commission is failing. Model Code of Conduct expressly says, and this is something very serious I want to raise before the country, there shall be no appeal to caste or communal feelings for securing votes. BJP's manifesto expressly is seeking votes in the name of building a Ram temple. This is what they say. We reiterate our stand on Ram Mandir. We will explore all possibilities within framework of Constitution and all necessary efforts to facilitate expeditious construction of Ram temple in Ayodhya. On Sabrimala, it says, we will undertake every effort to ensure that subject of faith, tradition and worship rituals related to Sabrimala are presented in a comprehensive manner before the Supreme
you
Court.
make a good
We will
point.
endeavour to secure constitutional protection on issues related to faith and belief. So I think, on this manifesto alone, the BJP should have censured. Unfortunately, the Election Commission is singularly silent, and I would say, with great respect, almost blind.
All right. Well, strong examples there by Dushyant Dave, and Nalini Singh, to get you in on that. It is unfortunate that this election has become as much about the Election Commission as it's become about the election itself. And even this comment by Mr. Modi in Wardha, when you look at what he actually says, that the Congress is forced to take refuge in places where the majority is in a minority, the Congress has insulted Hindus. And Dushyant Dave is right. I've seen the Model Code of Conduct. You're not supposed to appeal to communal feelings. What does this statement tell you, though?
That we don't know it, but things have changed. I mean, obviously, if the Election Commission finds that this is fine, this is how you can express yourself in during the course of a campaign, it's certainly it's very new for me, and it's only the last 10 minutes since I came into your studio that I've actually realized this. The thing is, excuse me, Nidhi, the thing is that if for 30 days, this was said on the 1st of April, today is the end of the month, 30 days, it's too late. Whatever you may say, these things get entrenched in people's minds. And may I ask you one thing? When I was here some time ago on similar subject, what has happened to Kalyan Singh? You remember?
Yeah,
the governor of Rajasthan.
Absolutely nothing has
The
happened to
governor
Kalyan
of
Singh.
Rajasthan had said, vote for Mr. Modi, the country needs him just
And
now,
there the
etc.
EC actually did say it was a violation. The whole thing was sent to the president, who sent it to the home ministry, and then this happened.
So I just want to know that when these things take so much time, then we have to question. We have to question whether whether this is a level playing field. The level playing field that I knew about is when the Model Code of Conduct is what was read out by Dushyant Dave, that you cannot appeal to religion and caste and several other parameters like that. But obviously we're doing it. But Nidhi, I want to raise another point. The Election Commission is actually in 5 years of central rule. The Election Commission is the ruling party for 3% of the time. For 60 or 65 days. There's nobody else in vision except the President and the Election Commission. And they do this So one has to
okay,
worry about that.
I get
it's
the
a
point you're
very
making.
important.
I just want to ask Mr. Hitesh Jain of the BJP, who's joining us as well. Mr. Jain, isn't it rather sad that today people are questioning the integrity of the Election Commission itself? Questions are being raised about whether the Election Commission, which was one of those institutions that was still respected in this country, whether it is being partisan, whether it is really being fair.
Well, I blame election commission. So there are
All right, my apologies. We have an audio and
Mr.
video
Modi.
problem with Mr. Jain. I'll just try to fix that. Mohammad Khan, just to take that point to you, I know that the Congress has taken a whole bunch of complaints about the Prime Minister to the EC. Yes, 10 of them actually. Are you hopeful that there may actually be a censure on something, or will it matter?
Well, I agree with Dushyant sir. I am as surprised as anyone. And truth be told, when you look at the context of the Prime Minister's speech, it is not a heat of the moment kind of a statement that he makes. It is a well thought out statement designed to inflame passions. What purpose can be served by reminding the people of who is in a majority or who is in a minority? What point can be served by prefacing that with a comment with regard to the fact that you have insulted the Hindus of India? Is that germane to your campaign? Is that in any way advancing the interests of the citizens who you claim to represent? No. We all know it. There are 4 people on this panel. Anyone who reads the speeches immediately gets the import. It is hate speech. It is hit by section 123 subclause 3 of the Representation of People's Act, which is what Dushyant Sahab read out. That is a corrupt practice. It disqualifies candidates. There was a candidate from IUML, a party based in Kerala, who was disqualified because he made an appeal in the name of religion last year. And the same standard is not being applied to Mr. Modi. I'll only say this. You have an enormous constitutional responsibility on your shoulders under Article 324. You have to supervise elections. You have to ensure that there is a level playing field. Nidhi ji, if this precedent is set, then tomorrow people will make heinous statements, they will inflame passions, and they will cite this as an example. That's what the Prime Minister has done. He's undermined institutions by words and by actions. I hope that the Election Commission on the remaining 9 complaints takes some decisive action, because ultimately their reputation is also on the line. The legacy of this institution is on the line. They stand on the shoulders of giants like Lingdo Saab and Sheshan Saab, Qureshi Saab, even O.P. Rawat. You remember O.P. Rawat Saab, who was the previous commissioner? He ordered action against Amit Shah in that election, in that Rajya Sabha election with which Mr. Ahmed Patel
Sorry,
was
I'm going to try again to go across to Hitesh Jain in Mumbai. Sorry, Hitesh, the point we were making was on the credibility of the EC and how unfortunate it is that the EC itself is now being questioned.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes. Apologies for that.
Okay. Well, Nidhi, why EC? EC, Supreme Court, CAG, which body has not been left out by the this compulsive contrarians and the Congress ecosystem? Every body, whenever they file a complaint and the complaint is not decided as per their wishes, they call out all sorts of names. I'm not surprised. I mean, they try to impeach the Chief Justice of India. I mean, they try to bring out the impeachment proceedings. They have attacked the institution of Supreme Court. So let's not get into that debate, because this whole majority, they are upset. They're still upset with the fact that Mr. Modi won the polls in 2014. They could not defeat him politically. So therefore, they tried these backdoor methods. And this is not common now. This is happening since 2004. That is the first part. Now, second part. Into October 2018, Ghulam Nabi Azad went to Aligarh Muslim University. This was on the eve of the campaigning for Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and all. And what was his speech? That, well, we are the Muslims. Nobody is inviting me to speak because if I will speak, the votes will go. I mean, this was his language. Second, Manmohan Singh, on the eve of campaigning of 2014 election, made a statement that Muslims have the first rights on the resource of the country. Now, when such speeches are made, and when you contrast that to speeches that are made, clearly there is no violation. Can you justify the language that Muslims have first right on the resources of the country? Ghulam Nabi Azad himself is their own leader in Aligarh University. If you will look at the text of his speech, the kind of speech that was made. So the larger point that was made, if you have to understand, that Congress is in minority appeasement. BJP speaks of 130 crores Indians, and there is no minority majority appeasement. It believes in welfare of all Indians.
But Mr. Modi's speech in Varda was about majority and minority.
Only because
Ironically, Mr. Jain, when Mr. Modi spoke in Varda, for which now the EC says he has done nothing wrong, but he spoke exactly the language of minority and majority. He talked about the Congress insulting Hindus. And when the model code of conduct says there should be no appeal to communal feelings, I'm sure will understand why a lot of people tonight will raise their eyebrows and say, oh,
well,
you know, the EC didn't find anything wrong with that.
Well, I will tell you something. The question people will ask is that this is not, because when Muslims have a first resource on the natural resource of country, that is directly communal. You are directly appealing in the name of Muslims. And what about the fact that I am Shiv Bhakt, I'm Janay Dharu Brahmin, my campaigning is in the temple. We all saw he was going, Mr. Dushyant Dave has a problem with the Ram Mandir mentioned in the manifesto. Rahul Gandhi was campaigning in the temples, performing Aarti. What was he doing? Was it
He
like a
wasn't
secular, or
campaigning.
merely because
He didn't
for
stand
Rahul
there and
Gandhi
make
you
a
have a
speech.
different lens, and
Yeah,
for
that's-
BJP
And
you have a different
firstly,
lens.
he didn't make a speech in those temples.
Of course he was. What was he doing in the Madhya Pradesh elections? In the
There was a
Shiv temple.
specific complaint against Mr. Modi to the Election Commission about what he said in Varda. Now, if you have a complaint against Ghulam Nabi Azad, take it to the Election Commission. If you have a complaint against anyone else you think has
Take it to
made
the
has made an unfair,
Well,
unjust
why
comment,
should
it
we
should
do not cry? I will tell you simple reason. Nidhi, just 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Nidhi, 30 seconds. We are winning the election. Congress is going to go below 44. So therefore, they are going to come with such stunts. Let them file a complaints. We are not here to cry. We will
May
fight
I
them
respond
politically.
Okay, you're not
May I-
going to file a complaint and yet, okay, but Mohammad Khan has a quick response.
Okay, just 2 points. Hiteshji, you're a lawyer of some distinction, so therefore it
Well,
surprises
fight them-
me no
fight them
end.
politically. We
Hiteshji,
are
listen to
within the
me.
people's
Listen
court.
to me. Hiteshji, listen to me. Now, I know you. You're a very good lawyer. So I'm surprised that you are speaking with such a surprising ignorance of the law in question. This is a legal argument to be made. The point is, as you said, you speak for 130 crore Indians, but on that day the Prime Minister wasn't. He made a distinction between people of two communities. That is hit by 123(3) of the Representation of People's Act. Abhiram Singh's judgment squarely applies on that point. Number two, very, very quickly, sir, whenever there's a violation, it is your duty to go to the Election Commission. You went to the Election Commission. Even in the case
you will
of
have a
Dr.
ground
Manmohan
to file
Singh,
in the
in the
election
case of
petition,
Dr.
so you can
Manmohan
try
Singh,
your remedy
you went to the
there.
Election
Why are you
Commission.
crying
But
now? You can fight the
Hiteshji,
battle politically. You can
Hiteshji,
engage
I'm
Dushyant
not here to
Dave
do
and
tutu
he will
meme with
argue
you.
your election
Hiteshji,
petition.
I'm not here to do tutu meme with you. I'm just pointing out something. Get your facts right. Dr. Manmohan Singh did not say that on the eve of election. He said it at a seminar at a particular conference. Your leaders know this. I'm surprised they haven't briefed you on this fact. These are not poll code violations. If they were, you would have taken action.
No, but Hitesh Jain, can I just ask you one question? Because I know you will never agree that anything Mr. Modi or Amit Shah have said is a poll code violation. Fine. But do you think that the Election Commission, when it is presented with a complaint, should at least dispose of those complaints quickly? I mean, this is a 1st April ka complaint. Where are we? We are now on the verge of May 1st. It has taken 1 month for the Election Commission to decide on this one complaint from a month ago. We're halfway through the election. Would you at least agree that the process needs to be faster?
And we had to go to the Supreme Court for this.
Mr. Jain?
Well, I think that is something for the Election Commission to answer, and it is not for the first time that is happening. In the past also, when the Karnataka elections were happening and when the Congress government was there and that the Election Commission was there, or if you look at the 2014 election and the complaints also, there also the complaint took 30 days, 40 days. It is not unusual. The problem is Congress is complaining too much because of the fact is when they are losing the elections, they are using the help of prejudices. So good luck to them. I mean, this is the language of losers, not winners in the election.
Whether someone is a winner or a loser,
everyone, the whole ecosystem wants to speak, and Congress want to speak. We welcome such kind of.
By the way, the BJP has also gone to the Election Commission over poll code violations, particularly in Bengal. So are you saying that the BJP is the loser in Bengal? They were just there when polling was taking place and with whatever happened in Babul Supriyo's constituency. So let's not label
filed
people.
11 complaints against Rahul ji.
Exactly.
So by his logic, they are losing this election.
No, so let's not get into that. But
in
there is a
Babul
case.
Supriyo's constituency,
Yeah.
crude bombs are hurled, people are killed, So do we shut eyes?
Nobody was
How do you
killed.
compare? When crude bombs are hurled and people are killed, do we keep our
I
eyes
think,
shut?
I think be
Is it
careful
something-
what you're
Of course,
saying,
there is
Mr.
one
Jain,
death,
about
recorded,
people
it
being
is there in
killed.
the newspaper.
Let's
First page
be
of Times of
factual.
India.
Please, let's be
First page of
factual.
Times
The
of
point
India,
is, all
Asansol had
political
1%
parties, all
death.
political parties have the right to go to the election commission. That's why you have a model code of conduct, and it is there. So should we, Dushyant Dave, should we just junk it? Because, you know, nobody cares anymore. The code is there. It's being violated every day. You know, across the board, those functionaries like the PM and Amit Shah who have violated it more than once or appear to have violated, the EC will not act against them. And the election commission is taking 1 month to decide on one comment that was made. You know, by the time they actually come to the rest of them, we'll be into the next general election. Mr. Dave.
Well, there are two things that I would like to say. One to Mr. Jain, and this is something little serious. BJP swears by Dr. Ambedkar, and Dr. Ambedkar on the last day of the Constituent Assembly had said, while defending provisions for protection of the minorities in the Constitution that he provided, that it is up to the majority to really now ensure that the minority is given respect in this country, minority is looked after. And that if minority is not looked after by the majority, then minority is an explosive force and it might have very serious consequences. And I remind Mr. Jain that Prime Minister Modi has repeatedly sworn by Dr. Ambedkar, they must pay heed to Dr. Ambedkar's advice in every form, not where they like in bits and pieces. Secondly, on this, perhaps Mr. Jain might be pleased to hear my views. If EC was not deciding the matter, the Congress party should have moved the Supreme Court within 48 hours. Let me tell you, Congress party has been sleeping over their rights. It happened that public-spirited citizens went to the Supreme Court in respect of several such statements made by various political leaders, including Mayawati. And the Supreme Court summoned the Election Commission officials. As soon as they summoned, that very afternoon, Election Commission passed orders of censures against everybody, including Mayawati. So I think to that extent, Congress has really slept. Even in respect of the manifesto and Ram Temple, the Congress has not even cared up till now. I mean, it's for citizens like us who feel very disturbed about it. But political parties have no time to really look into it. I don't know, their top legal minds have perhaps no time to really go into this. I don't know what is happening. But there is no doubt about the fact that there is a delay, but then that delay could have been easily solved by Congress party or other opposition parties having moved the Supreme Court. They didn't do it, so they must suffer now.
Well, before I get Mohammad Khan to respond, Nalini Singh had a point.
Just one litmus test that the Election Commission must apply to itself. Is the Election Commission being an instrument of gain to the ruling party or any other party? And it really has to ask itself this, not in terms of, will we offend the Prime Minister, will we offend Mr. Amit Shah, will we offend Rahul Gandhi? Not at all. I mean, after all, the Election Commission is of the citizens. The second thing is, can the Election Commission start by uploading the complaints against the Prime Minister and Amit Shah? They had said last time, if you remember, that there was a glitch. So I'm saying, is the technical glitch over? If it is, please upload tonight.
All right, well, Mohammad Khan, quick response, and then I'll move on.
Dushyant sir, we go to the Election Commission every single day almost, and they're kind enough to grant us a time and hearing. We have been beseeching them. In the words of Dr. Singhvi, he once said to them, I beseech you, I pray before you, I request you, please take a decision. We have come armed with evidence. We go with videos, we show it to them. Sir, again and again, we trusted in the institution, we hoped that they would act. When they didn't, Ms. Sushmita Dev, a very senior leader of our party, filed a petition in the Supreme Court, after which this decision came, sir. We hope, time and again, you can't fault us for believing in our institution, sir. After giving them representation after representation, and sir, we are still hopeful that on the remaining representations, the EC will see fit to take action against these individuals.
I just want to ask Mr. Jain one question before we move on to this whole citizenship row over Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Jain, do you think that we should junk the Model Code of Conduct? If no one has any respect for it, why do we have it?
Well, frankly speaking, it is not for me to comment on the Model Code of Conduct. I think Model Code of Conduct is working. But clearly an attempt is being made to intimidate the Election Commission of India, like how an attempt was made to intimidate the Chief Justice of India. Such tactics are being played there are compulsive contrarian, there is whole ecosystem working. They want to show Election Commission of India in poor light. The fact is, first they tried their luck 6 months before Modi will be below 200. When they have now realized that they have losing the battle politically, increasingly you are seeing the attack on the constitutional bodies. So people will have to really think that can you allow people to file false and frivolous complaints and intimidate the constitutional bodies. So this is a point equally that needs to be considered, and it is in the people's court.
Well, are these frivolous complaints? I will leave this thought there before we move on, because remember, the Election Commission had clearly said that you cannot use India's armed forces in this political campaign. Mr. Modi asked for votes in the names of the Pulwama soldiers who were killed, in the name of the Balakot airstrikes. That was perhaps the most controversial comment of all that was made on the 9th of April. The Election Commission is still sitting on that. And by the way, the Election Commission, the full EC, that is all three of them, the Chief Election Commissioner and his two election commissioners, met all day today to talk about this and have come up with what? One clean chit for the Prime Minister. And they have 9 other complaints pending against him, Amit Shah and others, which they have said nothing on today, all right? So just leaving that thought with everyone there. But just turning our attention to the other thing that, suddenly sprung up today, which was that, is Rahul Gandhi, a British national? Hitesh Jain, just coming back to you on this point. This was a case dismissed by the Supreme Court in 2015. It said it was frivolous. This was a complaint Subramaniam Swamy took to a parliament panel also in 2015, headed by Mr. Advani, who didn't do anything on it. After that, we have seen this complaint come to the Home Ministry in 2017. Suddenly, a notice is issued by the Home Ministry today. The Election Commission just cleared his nomination papers, rejecting similar complaints. So, would you forgive people today who are a little skeptical about why the BJP has suddenly raked this up?
Nidhi, I want to show you a tweet by Sanjay Jha today, and if your camera can focus, and I will read from this tweet. This is a very important tweet, and I will read that Sanjay Jha's tweet. Dear Randeep Singh Surjewala, congrats boss, looks like our mole in the BJP is doing a brilliant job. The citizenship crap against Rahul Gandhi is a brilliant master stroke. BJP looking like such sad losers, loving this. Now Congress says, claiming that this is their mole who has filed this complaint. So let Congress only explain who is the mole and what is the complaint. There are 2 documents that are referring. One is the complaint by one document refers to the British citizenship. One document refers to Indian citizenship, and a Congress spokesperson is calling this a complaint by Congress mole. So let Congress explain, why are we being dragged? There are 2 documents in the public. Why should we sit and explain?
But the same documents were rejected by the Supreme Court as frivolous in 2015. They were just cleared by he was just cleared by the Election Commission. The same complaint was put forward to the EC just now when he filed in Wayanad and Amethi. So then, what is this about suddenly?
I'm glad, Nidhi. You are talking about the dismissal of the petition in the Supreme Court. So was Rafale petition dismissed in the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court said that there cannot be a fishing and roving inquiry.
So you could have gone and filed a review plea.
The judgments of the Supreme Court.
People went and asked for a review plea in the Supreme Court, so there is a review.
And the fact is, there are 2 documents. There are 2 documents. There are 2 documents. Review will also come now that the Congress is claiming that their mole has brought forth this information. Now you will see the review petition will also be filed, because if there are 2 petitions,
is this because you guys don't want to? Because you all had a press conference today.
I'm sure all these issues will be raised.
No, but the thing is, and before I take this to the rest of the panel, just my question, because we saw my friend Mr. Sambit Patra returning to the BJP headquarters as spokesperson today, where he held forth on the most pressing issue that this country is facing today, not the economy, not jobs, not industrial growth, none of that, but on Rahul Gandhi's alleged citizenship issue, which has already been rejected by the courts and the Election Commission. So is this a tactic?
So
I mean, why isn't Mr. Patra or anybody else in the BJP sitting in the BJP headquarters here in Delhi and having a press conference on the economic indicators, on jobs, on the debt burden on Indians? Some of those figures are actually quite startling.
Nidhi, can I answer that in 30 seconds?
Please do.
Nidhi, frankly speaking, in 2014 there were two issues, inflation and corruption. People have realized there is no answer. So when there is no inflation, no corruption, no allegations to attack, now these false narratives are built about the job loss. If you will look at the CII, the kind of infrastructure work that is going on, the exports of the figures that are coming, and when you look at the data, nobody is ready to believe the narrative of job loss and all this narrative. That is the reason nobody is speaking about this issue.
Job gain.
If there were merits in the issue,
if you
certainly people
created
will
jobs,
speak.
then at least
And
hold a press conference on that. Why on this non-issue?
Commission was gathering dust for 8 years. Nidhi, Swaminathan Commission report was gathering dust for 8 years from 2006 to 2014. Congress did not act on that, and now they are complaining. People know that track record.
You should be doing a press conference on that and not this, Mohammad Khan.
Yes. Mr. Jain, आज एक बात तो साफ हो गई. You do not understand the difference between satire and humor. That is very clear. Sanjay Jahaji's comment was tongue-in-cheek. I would advise you to go read it again. The second thing I want to tell you is this. This is such a frivolous charge. I will prove it false in 40 seconds. Time me. First of all, you started by talking about the Supreme Court judgment, where the same evidence, the same charges were presented before a two-judge bench. One of the judges was the Chief Justice of India. They dismissed it. They said they would impose exemplary costs on the petitioner. That's how frivolous it was. Number two, the Ethics Committee of Parliament, which, as you pointed out, did not even deign to take cognizance of this matter. Number three, boss, you are in control of the Home Ministry. All the agencies are with you. Go look at your records. Hitesh Jain ji, again, the law is on your side. The Indian Passports Act says no one can hold more than one passport. There's no concept of dual citizenship in India. If at any point of time, assuming that you are correct, you can go and verify the record today. And if for some reason you are prevented from accessing your own records, call the British Embassy, call the Foreign Office, ask them to clarify. Because if you remember, Hitesh ji, no one interrupted you. We listened to you for 10 minutes while you droned on and on. Hitesh ji, please, just listen to me for 1 second. I'm concluding. Hitesh Jain ji was trying to make some sort of a point, but I don't think he actually got around to it. So I'll conclude by saying this. Hitesh Jain ji, we challenge you with all the resources at your command, prove this charge. Because every single place you have failed. And if in today's debate it is clear that someone is rattled, it is you and your party.
Well, you know, Dushyant Dave, what is also very interesting in this whole is Rahul Gandhi, you know, a British citizen or not, is that, well, you know, he's been a member of parliament 3 times. He's been traveling on an Indian passport. And the BJP has been in power under Mr. Modi for the last 5 years. So it's a bit alarming that they have suddenly discovered this and right after the Election Commission just cleared his nomination papers just a few days ago.
Nidhi, I think there is a much more fundamental issue than what both the BJP and the Congress spokespersons have said. And that is this. That under Section 10 of the Citizenship Act of 1955, central government has power to revoke a citizenship only of those who are either citizens by registration under Section 5 or are citizens by naturalization under Section 6. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a citizen by birth under Section 3. Therefore, central government's notice is completely without jurisdiction and without authority. And I really hope that the Congress people will really read Section 10 and take it up in court as soon as possible. Having said that, let me tell you one thing. Unfortunately, every institution today is reeling under pressure from the party in power. And it happens every time. Even in Congress government, it happened. We have lost, you know, the objectivity in institutions or the integrity of the institutions long ago. And to a great extent, Congress is responsible. But BJP has made it worse. And therefore, I must say that, I mean, we debated Election Commission. Every institution has lost its spine. And what is a director of, you know, in the Ministry of Home Affairs is a very small person. He acts as per telephonic instructions that he must have received from the top bosses. And he has acted. This is something which BJP today needs, you know, somehow everything that they can take out from under the carpet to really, paint a bad picture about the Congress party or the opposition parties. The BJP wants to do it. This unfortunately has become a street fight. It's no longer a democratic election process. It is a street fight, and everything is permissible here. That is why Mr. Jain rightly says that BJP doesn't care a damn about the Model Code of Conduct. I think this notice is without any basis. Forget previous Supreme Court order, forget everything else. Under the Act, this notice has no legs to stand.
Well, you know, that is the whole point. That is what is worrying. You're saying it's a street fight and elections are meant, are not meant to be nice battles. But, when institutions and the Home Ministry gets dragged into a political battle this way in the middle of a campaign, Nalini Singh, then we come back to the same point.
So are we allowing any party, in this case the BJP, to be using government machinery, in this case the Ministry of Home Affairs, to prove somebody a foreigner or not? In the middle of an election campaign, I mean, just think of the import of, of using government machinery in this manner. Second thing is, when you are talk about important issues, you are advising the BJP. I would say that Sambit Patra, the cyclone Fani has hit Puri very badly, where he is a candidate. So maybe he can also talk about that. But Nidhi, I must tell you that what I knew of Indira Gandhi, she used to appropriate Indianness. So when her grandchildren were born, all three of them, I am absolutely sure that she made their passports Indian and she declared it to the whole world, or she was absolutely meticulous about that. But also that when we have in the middle of an election campaign and
Indira Gandhi did so many things. She superseded so many judges in the Supreme Court and also appointed the Chief Justice of her choice.
Mr. Hitesh Jain, I'm talking about the passports of 3 little babies. They were babies then. So let's not bring in the Chief Justice, etc. and supersession of judges.
I'm just telling you what Indira Gandhi was capable of.
Indira Gandhi, I'm not at all a spokesperson for Indira Gandhi. There must be other people still. I'm not a I'm a spokesperson for the ordinary Indian and for the truth. The last thing I want to say, it is juvenile and it is actually quite unbelievable that when Amethi is going to the polls on the 6th, I'm not a voter in Amethi, so it doesn't matter to me. But it matters to me as an Indian that the Congress should rake up something of the BJP, or the BJP should rake up something which has been to the Supreme Court, but rejected over there.
That's what I said.
So I'm just saying that how juvenile can
that
be.
real
And I just want to say one thing.
Digressing from the real
I just want to
issues.
say one thing, that Dr. Subramanian Swamy himself has filed it in 17 and now it's 19, 1 year and 9 months later. Now the thing is, I'll say nothing but what Dr. Subramanian Swamy says openly in public, that Mr. Rajnath Singh is a very close friend of his, period.
All right. Well, Mohammad Khan, you get the last 30
very
seconds.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Mr. Dave says that we should take this up and we should raise this issue. Sir, the other big infirmity with this notification is...
आपकी कोई सुने ना तब.
हम हमारी तो सुनते हैं, इनके अकॉर्डिंग तो हम ही सरकार चला रहे हैं, अकॉर्डिंग टू हितेश जैन जी. They've lived in perpetual fear of us for 5 years. The governance agenda has been stalled by the ghosts of our leaders. So I think we are still a very potent force. But the second thing I'll say is this. Last I checked, Dushyant sir, the principle in this country is that the accuser has to bring the evidence. I can't accuse you of something and then say you prove your innocence. Their entire claim, and even this Home Ministry notice, is devoid of any proof. I have to prove absolutely nothing to you. You are the people. If you're making the charge, back it up with evidence. We've looked you in the eye and challenged you time and again. But I think on the 23rd, Mr. Jain, you will get your answer.
Mr. Dave, Nidhi, together, if you speak about propriety, and when there are 2 documents, one British and one Indian, so answer on
then
propriety.
by all means,
we don't have to, nobody has to answer. The Supreme Court has answered on it. The Supreme Court has rejected those documents. The Supreme Court has rejected those documents in the past, and I'm sorry, Mr. Jain, this country needs bigger issues. This country has more serious issues to deal with. Please have a press conference in the BJP headquarters about unemployment, about if you've created jobs as you claim, you say you've done, then please scream about it from every rally, every rooftop, every press conference. I'm going to remind you, the Prime Minister in 35 rallies that he conducted in 1 month, we actually counted how many times he talked about jobs. Do you know how many times he talked about jobs? 7 times. 7 times in 35 rallies. And he spoke about himself 199 times.
Is not going to cut the ice. Nidhi, such false propaganda is not going to cut the ice. You are cut off from the reality. You don't know what the real public thinks, and you can continue to peddle the
Well, like I said, you don't, when you're confronted with issues, you can raise your voice and accuse everyone else of propaganda. But please go and brag about the jobs you've created to the rest of the world. Please do that. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us on the program this evening.